Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Swift Live broadcast of the WTRL Team Time Trial. We're in with number 161 out on the beach island loop. Nathan Guerra here, and I just wanted to heads up front, just let everybody know, if you haven't been around with us for just a little while, we are heading into a new format for the Team Time Trial. The idea here is to make it Team Time Trial Day and feature special community members and teams out in the world of the Team Time Trial. This has become such a main hub of the world of Zwift racing with WTRL and everything that they have done that we really want to highlight everyone throughout the day. So our show is going to be a little bit different, not so much focused on the Platinum League, although you definitely want to try and get into the Platinum League to be in that top echelon of riders there. We definitely want to spread out the love a little bit across for the features and really focusing on the entirety of the community that has been built here with upwards, I believe, of 6,000-7,000 riders every week when we get into the peak, maybe even more. And we're still bringing in the thousands every single week right now throughout the summer. It's pretty awesome to see what obviously WTRL has done here. So let's go ahead and bring in everybody that's with us today. We've actually got a whole lineup with us today, which is pretty awesome. Anna Russell's here with us today, Dave Towle, and we do actually have a special guest with us as well that is going to be Douglas Cook, the co-founder from Team Electric Spirit Co. So real quickly, Dave, I'm going to head on over to you first because you've been here with us from the beginning of the broadcast of the TTT. And just a quick little chat about how awesome it is, I think, in my opinion, of how we're changing things up a little bit to feature some of these teams.
Well, I think it's great. I really do. Martin has worked so hard to build up this where we are at now. And one of the things that always seemed to be missing was the ability to cover the B's and the C's and the D's and tell their stories better. And really realizing that trying to cover this, and I certainly will throw this to Anna for her thoughts as well, but in team time trialing, trying to cover it pedal stroke by pedal stroke isn't necessarily thrilling. And also, it's also hard to stay away from criticism because it's when things are going perfectly, it's there's not much to say, and it's rarely going perfectly in a team time trial. So that being said, a lot of different ways to look at this, but celebrating all the individuals in the community. And Nathan, you've really helped build something special, and we're really in your draft on this. So before I throw it back to you, what I did want to add was here's the perfect example. I had an old friend from Ireland reach out, Kieran McKenna, who wanted to make sure that I knew that his buddy, teammate, was in his 100th. So this touches on everything you're talking about, Nathan. That he's in his 100th WTRL today, and his name is Goose, and he wanted to make sure that Goose got a shout out. So Goose, it's your day today, buddy. You're in the broadcast, man. So have a great 100th WTRL. Back to you, Nathan.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah, and this is a really great little pivot, I think, that we're making here in some ways to get across the entirety of the community. Anna, just your thoughts real quickly on all that. And then actually, because Doug is, here with us right away, we'll jump right down into a little bit of the racing and then take a look at some of the times that have been set throughout the day. But Anna, thoughts?
I love it. I'm here. I get to chat about my favorite thing, which is esport. But I think what I found is, and especially in the WTRL, ZRL TTTs, when you're commentating them, you just start to gravitate towards talking about the teams, towards talking about the communities, as opposed to, like you said, Dave, just pedal stroke for pedal stroke tactics and techniques. So I think it's great. I think it's a natural progression to now start bringing in the community, start showcasing all these awesome people. I'm super excited to talk to Doug because I'm actually entered in a race that he's organizing next week. So I'm going to be getting some inside intel as we chat with him through the show. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, and I'm excited about it too. I'm thinking about jumping into that, more on that in just a little bit. Doug, real quickly before we head down into some of the racing, do you want to just introduce yourself real quickly? Just a real short little quip.
Yeah, so I'm Douglas. I'm one of the founders of Team Electric Spirit. And Dave, your friend Goose beat me in a race earlier today. So there you go. That's how small his community is. And so good to see him racing again tonight.
Doug, we really appreciate all the work. And just as a heads up, everybody, to this guy, the amount of quick responsiveness and communication, as well as the work that I've seen them being put in with the Team Electric Spirit Co. and the amount of organization I've seen from them has been really, really impressive. So I'm really happy to have them on. Let's go ahead and jump right down in the racing. We'll jump into with a Team Electric Spirit Co. quickly here, and then take a look with how things are playing out. This is going to be Zone 11 that we're out here with, and actually, I didn't realize this, but one of our startups here, Dave, when it comes to the top level, has shown up out here for the race. Dave, Katie Loker's out here today.
Well, that's awesome. Big fan. So, hey, Douglas, really quickly, you're in Scotland, is that right?
I'm in Scotland, yeah. Not all of these guys are in Scotland, but we're up here. I think Laura, who's racing tonight, is up there. Katie's in England.
So Electric Spirit, Nathan and I were so impressed when you came into ZRL and WTRL, and it's a non-endemic cycling brand. It's actually a super well-respected distillery there. It's cool to have a relationship like that, to some kind of umbrella over the top of the team, isn't it, to bring you all together?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So the distillery is owned by my fellow co-founder, James. So when we just started up as a group of friends, we thought it'd be cool to put his name on it, and he gave us some gin for when we did well, not when we won. We won very much in the early days, and the name just stuck, and then more people got involved. So.
And then you started not doing so well, so they had to pull the gin back, I bet, right?
We have had to pull the gin back a bit these days, yeah. Especially with this team that are out here tonight, they were costing us a lot of money in free gin.
Well, I'm gonna. So I do want to ask you some questions about Katie Loker. How do you find riders like that for the team? Does she come to you? Did you see her racing and ask her to join? How did you start that?
So quite a lot of our from our women's teams in particular, like we went out and found them, and I guess in the early days people didn't know who we were, so we were having to look for people that we thought were quite new but had a bit of promise, and Katie was one of those. Alexi's another one who Alexi had done barely any racing on Zwift, and they'd only just started cycling. I didn't know that when I first contacted her, but she'd only really just first started cycling, and now she's racing outdoors, third cat and almost second cat in the US. So, seeing the progress they made is just incredible for people that, we found, 1-2 years ago with very little Zwift experience, and for some of them, very little cycling experience.
Hey, I'm going to pass the baton over to you, Anna, or Nathan, always in charge here. But Anna, Katie Loker is one of those riders that broke through. Talk about her really quickly as a competitor.
It's funny watching her on screen because she's my avatar twin. So I've raced against her a few times now, and I always find it really disconcerting because we're twins out there. But she's amazing. This whole team is great. They came onto the scene. I raced with them in America's East. Was it last season as well? I've got to say they burst on. I think when I've been commentating, every time I've seen them, I've kind of said that they're just this new team that added a lot of excitement. I loved the way they raced. Katie Loker, obviously, we've seen her on the front of this group almost the whole time she's been in camera now. Just looking at her, she's a swimmer turned Zwifter, which is really cool. I love... They've got a huge Team Electric Spirit logo sitting there on her Zwift Power profile. I mean, is this Team Electric Spirit, how did you guys sort of get all of these assets together? Who's the person behind the scenes? Is that you, Doug, or is there, the social media person? Because you guys seem to have really nailed that.
There's two of us that do most of the work. So there's me and then James, who has the distillery. In a previous life, before he started the distillery, he was a designer. So, all the cool looking stuff, posters and logos and stuff, that's all his work. And, he's built an incredible brand with the gin, and it's won loads of design awards. So he's doing that for his gin, he's doing it for the team, and then I do the less sexy organization work, and he gets to do all the nice
the important stuff.
Yeah.
So we're going to bring in some of the times throughout the that we've had here in just a moment here and get a little bit more into how things been playing out throughout the day. Electric Spirit Code did just finish up. We were going to have Gio, the team captain from that team, on, but it sounds like she got, just for as a little bit of camera watching how they were playing up, it sounds like she was de-essing. We'll see if maybe she's able to jump on, but I have a feeling not going to be able to do so. Hopefully not too bad of an injury, and she'll be back up and running in just a little bit. But before we head into the results and how things are playing out throughout the day for the TTT, Douglas, you do have this new event. I want to speak not only to this new event, but all of the events that you have been running. Do you have like a idea right off the top of your head of how long you've been running events and how many you've been running on Zwift so far?
Yeah, so I think we've been running events for about 12 months, maybe a little bit less. I think last summer was the first ones we put on. So we actually have a daily event. So we have a lunchtime, UK lunchtime crit series. So the idea is like 10, 15 minutes. You can do it in your lunch break, and that just runs every day, and we rotate the courses. And then normally in the off season from ZRL, like our team is quite focused on ZRL. So during that time, we can't get the teams to do anything else. So then in the off season, we've been putting on some invite only races with teams that we're friends with and other teams that we admire that want to get involved. So the one next week's a bit of an evolution of those things. So we always kind of like this idea of taking our 15-minute races and like what happens if we put a few of these together, and so we put a few of them together and we've come to a 4-race series for next Tuesday.
Right on. And then
I jump in?
Go ahead, Anna. Go ahead, Anna. All you.
Sorry. I am just so excited for this race next week. So I just, I talk to people. I'm like, yeah, there's a race next week. You should do it. It's 4 races. It's going to be over about 2 hours. They're like, whoa, that's hard. But, and I've got to say, Doug, when I first looked at it, I was like, Bologna TT to start. Oh, no. But it is only the first 6 kilometers. So it stops before the climb starts. Am I correct?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, every true prologue isn't a real race, is it? We do a bit of a tour around the city and, let the fans see you, and then the real racing will start on stage 2.
Yeah, real quickly, I'll go ahead. I did just throw the image up there real quickly. If people don't know what we're talking about, it is going to be the Tour de la... can you say that for me? I'm going to get this so bad. So go ahead and give this... Doug, can you say this?
I've never had to say it. I've never had to say it. I've only had to type it. It's fine. River Gauche? I should have...
Okay, man, every one of us are not going to know. Maybe, I think Dave's going to be the best at this. Dave, you got to take a shot?
Tour de la Rive Gauche.
There we go. Tour de la Rive Gauche. Oh, man. Dave is the best when it comes to these translations, especially when they're Italian, it seems. But 4 stages, okay? So it's going to be 4 stages: prologue, TT, mountain stage, road to sky. Then it's going to be a crit. Then it's going to be a rolling road race type situation out on Casse Pats. Yorkshire Duchy Estates, the crit. The mountain is road to sky. Bologna TT. Oh, my goodness. All of that in the matter of essentially 2 hours of racing, 4 stages. It's kind of never been seen before, I think, that kind of race situation.
Hey, speaking of that, cool. Nathan, do you mind if I jump in
super
quick? Douglas, what did you think of the knockout series? Anna was one of our stars of the series. I know she loved it. What'd you think? Your team did really well.
Yeah, we loved being involved. It was great for us, and Socks for Watts as well got, brought up from the community leagues last season, got to be part of that. So it was a great format to get to try out and to test ourselves against teams that we don't always get to race against as well. So I thought it was a really exciting format, and I think the whole team were really excited about seeing how Zwift evolve that in the future.
It seems like that's the new frontier here. Nathan with the broadcast element, and Anna and racer, and Anna is a broadcaster and racer. I think that, let me just throw this to you with this pre-phrasing it this way, Douglas. Trying to replicate exactly what in real life bike racing is not necessarily the end game here. Trying to create an exciting product for the racer, the viewer, and everyone involved is. And it seems like that's what you guys are doing with your format here. here. So is that really the path to success here, is get outside of the box? That's an overused phrase, I know, from over a decade ago, but we really have to rethink what we're doing with this. It seems like that's what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think with the knockouts as a viewer, like a couple of them, I wasn't DSing, I wasn't involved, I was just as a viewer, and it was amazing to watch. And I think what we're trying to do next week is maybe have a bit of both. I think there's a bit of novelty, that people, I mean, if people were able to watch it, I think they'd enjoy it. But we want to do something for the racers as well. And I guess as a racer, like points racing is not for me. Like I'm never going to do well in points race. It's just not what I'm good at. So we're making this race as like a time-based GC format. We want to do something a bit different there, see how that worked. And, I think there's room for lots of innovation and trying new things and seeing what works. And some things will work and some things won't. So we just want to try something new and see how folk found it. So we've done that with the 4 stages, and we've done it with the time-based format, which is quite unusual, with a lot of stuff moving more towards points-based.
Real quick,
Did it all start with?
Oh, go ahead, Dave. All you.
Last one, Nathan. Sorry, thank you. The WTRL, was that where it all started for you guys, or did you have an entry point in a different way into ZRL and racing and esports? Or was it Thursday's
I think
team
that's
time
where
trial?
No, it was really ZRL. Like it started with, we had a WhatsApp group of just friends and friends of friends that rode on Zwift like before ZRL, and we would just chat and occasionally ride together. And when ZRL started, we said, well, how about we get a team together for this? And it just snowballed. Other people invite friends. Then we had gaps in the teams and we needed to find people some weeks to get involved. So we asked on Facebook, and then all of a sudden eventually we then got to 200 riders. But yeah, that's where it started, just friends who all like Zwifting, and it wasn't formal really until ZRL started 2 years ago.
So I just want to, let's go ahead and transition here, because Sophie actually has jumped in with us, and I definitely don't want to just leave her hanging. So let's go ahead and jump in with Gio.
Me out.
No, you're here to stay. You're here to stay. No escaping now. No escaping now. Sophie, can you hear us okay? We weren't able to do an audio check quick there, but just making sure. There, good. We hear you perfectly. Awesome. You just got done de-essing what looked like to be a really solid ride by the ladies. You were going to be racing, it sounded like, but things maybe changed up a little bit right at the last minute for you.
Yes, we had to adjust at the last minute, and it's Zwift. It's always like that. We have problem, we have issues, and we adapt, we adjust. So at the last moment, I was on the bike, all was set up perfectly, and then I had a surgery 1 week ago, but you don't want to know all my life because it will last all night and more. And I said, oh, ladies, I don't feel right. I will just DS. And then we adjusted, and it was perfect. And we had a solid but steady ride, because we had a race on Tuesday, and we have the race on Saturday, and the big event that we organize on next Tuesday. So the girls don't have to burn their legs. It was the goal for tonight.
Awesome.
Voilà.
Well, yeah, great. Well, and you were de-essing a little bit there, right? It sounded like, and took over that role then instead. And I heard a little bit in the background because you were bringing a camera in for a moment, and I heard you coaching the ladies through. Is that a role that you take on a lot of times with the team to de-ess?
Yes, I love that. I love watching them, because I think you can imagine, because you are a Zwifter, but they give so much, and that's amazing. And I love that. So I'm often a DS for them, because some of the riders have to sit out from races, and I'm not the biggest, the strongest. So I sit out, and instead I DS, and it's amazing. I love that. Actually, it's my pleasure.
Right on.
Sophie, what's your DS style? Are you the yeller saying, "Come on, let's go"? Are you the motivator? I think I'm going to do a piece on this. What's your DS persona?
I think I'm all this in one person. Always the same. Just depending on the riders, some of them need very precise indications, and I'm trying to be precise. Some of them just need to be like motivated at some point. I think some of them need to be quiet. So I let them do their job because they know what to do. I won't tell some of them how to launch their sprint because they know better than me. So I adjust. But yes, I'm most a yeller. I love that. And in French, in English, in Italian.
Oh,
And I had a
great.
Romanian once.
I want to be on
Sophie,
your
where
team. This sounds like a fun experience.
Come.
where do you Zwift from, Sophie? Where are you right now?
It's a secret
Oh,
location.
It's a secret.
Yeah.
smart move.
I will say, I
Europe.
will say we drink wine. Yeah, we drink wine a lot here. Not gin, but
I think
wine.
we needed Sophie here.
Can you
We needed
imagine?
Sophie here when we
Sounds
were trying to
pretty.
say our name, the race name.
So I'm not a detective, but I'm going with France. But at
Yeah.
any rate, I was just
Yeah,
curious.
with my
for
accent.
Sure.
Mm.
Yes, that's
In the
but
south,
you
in the
never know. It's
south of
very
France.
one of the things I love about
South.
south of France. Beautiful, nice.
Yeah.
It's there's such a global sport. Have you had any teammates that you didn't share a language with yet? Because it sounds like you're really good with the three. Your English is awesome, by the way. Thank you for
Oh,
speaking in English with us.
thank you.
But have you ever had an athlete that you couldn't communicate with and just had to figure it out?
What are you saying
No
exactly?
shared
What do you mean?
language, just share of loving of racing, but you couldn't speak when you're directing to them. Like the Romanian rider, did she speak English?
Yeah, yes, but I had some athletes that didn't speak very well English, and we always find a way to communicate with the
Right.
yelling.
With the yelling.
Go, go,
With the
go.
yelling.
Well, makes sense.
Love it. I love it.
So then you
Everyone
just
knows a
like I
yell.
could just picture this. You identify the person by their name. Let's say it's I don't know, Katie. Let's say it's Katie, but Katie doesn't understand what you're saying other than go now hard lava now.
Exactly.
There
It's
is a cycling
international.
language. There is sort of
Yeah.
there's a language of love and there's a language of cycling, I think, right? Like everybody would know most words.
So, okay, let's dive in just a little bit to the right now for the team, Gio, and Chanceliers, right? That's your main team, and you guys participate in ZRL, you guys participate in TTT, and how is that working? Is part of the Chanceliers also a part of that Electric Spirit Co team that's in the finals too? It sounds like you are participating in the in the finals this weekend.
Yeah.
So okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So and I mean, right now, to me, if I get into the mindset of your team right now, there's a lot of events. I mean, this is like peak season all of a sudden.
Pixies.
Peak. So main season, like right now is. I mean, you have
Yes.
4 major
Lots
events
of
all
racing.
going on at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yes, but we worked for that months ago. You know, it's a work we do since several months. So it's like they deserve it now, and everything is happening at the same moment. But they worked, and we worked for that. So it's like it's not like a gift. It's like they deserve.
That's
And
so
yes,
awesome.
it's a main season.
That's so awesome to hear that you have a plan toward this and it's coming to fruition. And I mean, obviously, you guys are competitors. I mean, we've got right here happening right now. That's a reality. And I mean, can you relate to what she's saying there, though? I mean, this is all that, like, and was this expected? Is that kind of like, I mean, it sounds like they were planning around this, that this is expected almost, or maybe it just came at them, but it's kind of like this is the fruition of an entirety of a Zwift season that's coming to this head before we head into, or as we head into summer and look forward to the fall of Zwift racing.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you've built up a good team like Electric Spirit have, and we have on the Riot side for us, is you you've got to take it seriously. You've got to actually do a bit of planning around it. Like, we all go out and recon the course. We all go out and come up with some tactics. You can't just rock up now and hope for the best and not be on Discord and not be talking with your teammates. I mean, probably like you would find your friends. And so often I hear the commentators, saying, oh, look at those tactics. We just know each other. I know that Christina likes a lead out. I know she likes things disrupted before her sprint. So what do? I go disrupt things. But we don't have to talk about that. You just know. I mean, and I think now you're looking down the barrel of coming up to almost 2 years of doing this. I mean, it becomes more and more serious every time. So if you want to make finals, well, you need to put the work in. Just like you said, you've got to prepare for it and you've got to plan around it.
Sophie, let me jump in, Anna. I love that. Sophie, how aware are you of Anna's racing with the Riot team? Is that a team that you've looked at? They've been, for at least on our broadcast, one of the most dominant in history.
Yeah.
Has that been a target for you ladies?
Yeah, I made a list.
Love it.
Riot at the top.
Okay. So Anna's whiteboard is having an impact on Gio's reality. It sounds like she has her own whiteboard now. It looks like.
So
It's funny.
It is. So, hey, Anna, I got to ask you, is it tough racing down in New Zealand? Because obviously you're in that corner, there's no corner of the globe, but in that part of the world where obviously people from New Zealand, Australia, you've always had to overcome extra travel distance, extra to be successful in world athletics. Even in esports, it seems like it's true. Is it tough down there?
It's tough. I actually had a really great conversation with some of the Aussies around New Zealand, and Aussies trying to get onto the world stage in cycling is near on impossible. And Zwift has opened up this. I'd say from a community point of view, I mean, I'm probably one of only 2 New Zealanders in the league we're in, but that's what makes it so awesome. And I think this has opened it up for people on this side of the world, but it's kind of opened it up for anyone who can't really just leave their house like that. That's why you see so many mums on there, people in places that are a little bit out of the way. So yeah, I mean, that's what it's done for sure. But I mean, that the point you made, Sophie, bring it on. I want people trying to take Riot down. I want some people to come in and beat us. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to the day we get beaten. It'll be good. And I hope it's Electric Spirit. I love you guys.
Well, guys, we're going to transition here, and just want to be like a huge thank you to Electric Spirit Co. Take a little time to let us know who they are. And Douglas, I really appreciate you. Gio coming on. Great job out there. We'll take a look at the results and how they played out here in just a moment. Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, last one for you, Douglas. Would you take this as a compliment, okay? I think that Electric Spirit Co. is the hottest thing in esports since microwavable haggis. What do you think of that?
I mean, haggis cooks very well in the microwave, so yeah, totally. That was a massive compliment.
You guys are hot, man. Really, keep it up. We love your energy. Thanks, Sophie.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys very much. Thanks for coming on. Good luck this weekend, Sophie and the rest of the team. Please give a shout out to them. Anna might be holding back just a little bit of luck and holding a couple of dice. We'll see how that ends up.
She's not wishing you that much luck.
But we
I am.
We appreciate you guys coming on, and we'll see you guys out on Zwift. Thank you so much, Electric Spirit Co. Again, everybody, just as a heads up for what is going on this weekend, this is what's happening. It is going to be, or not this weekend, excuse me, next week, and the event that Electric Spirit is putting on. If you weren't a part of their ZRL appetizers on Saturdays, amazingly well put together organization. Next Tuesday, May 24, 7 p.m. BST. There's going to be 4 races in a row. Never really been done before. So pretty awesome to see what they are up to. Well, let's head back down into some racing, actually. And we are in with, this is actually going to be zone 14. And we're just jumping in here to see how the Vikings are doing out of zone 14 with Steve and Austin Fun. And we're going to start taking a look here at what the current situation is for the overall standings. so far for the day as well. So far for the day, what has been happening? See if we can get some of the
This is
results.
my
Let's go ahead
kinda
and course
course.
records. Go ahead, Dave. Yeah, Beach
I was
Island
gonna
Loop, 2
say,
laps for 26K, 25.9-ish. Here's the course records. I think BBB just set that, actually. Go ahead, Dave.
yeah, I have to ask Anna what she thinks, but as far as team time trialing goes, this is a purist course out here today. Only 49 meters of climbing over almost 26K. You like these kind of courses, Anna, or do you like the more severe, maybe less purist team time trial courses? But that's the beautiful thing about esports and WTRL. We've got that range so much to use. Do you like the hard courses, or, well, hard is not the right word. Do you like the flat courses or the lot of vertical gain?
If it's a TTT, I'm more of a purist. I'd do Tempest Future
Yeah.
all day long, just flat as a
Yeah,
pancake.
it's where it's
and
about
just kinda-
aerodynamics and precision.
aerodynamics and just the pure technique around a good TTT team. So,
Yeah,
and
too.
also what I like about it is you can bring in riders who maybe aren't as strong and they can still hang with you. Whereas if you're adding in, a really steep climb, they'll probably
Great
drop.
point.
And so it's nice. It's a bit more team cohesive when it's dead flat.
That's an awesome point, Nathan. If you think about it, if it's a flatter course, you can just sit in and stay in the wheels and not take pulls and be there a lot longer. And for a lot of our teams, as we're focusing on more Bs and Cs and Ds racing, Anna, some of these teams go out with a goal of finishing together, not necessarily just flat out going for the fastest time that you can get, say, with the 8 riders. And that's a different mindset and one that I completely respect. I think it's just good, Nathan, to know what your plan is. That's the thing. You can't have people on different pages is all.
Yeah, I mean, definitely need to know
Some of you
exactly
trying to
what
keep
the
the team
plan is.
together. Some of you trying to get the fastest time is not going to be
Just let him
fun.
go.
No.
Just in my head, I don't want to slow down. Just get out of here. It's over. I'm sorry, buddy.
Like,
Get out.
keep them together. Keep them together. Like,
I get yelled at a lot in my team time trials.
Yeah, I
actually,
bet.
like,
Oh no!
and I'm the type who
You're the
like
hero
just
up front.
and I can't talk because I'm suffering so badly, so I can't even communicate what's happening. And I have push to talk on because I don't want to be like the loud guy in the thing that, and I'm a mess. I belong in the DS seat because I think I have, well, I don't know. Maybe I don't have the brains. I just think I do. But, I've got a little bit of whiteboard knowledge here. And then I like try to lead while I can't talk. And then I just lead with my legs and everybody's mad at me and it just ends up blowing up.
Anna, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Team seems to do so well in that discipline. It's poetry in motion. That's such an overused term as well. But it really feels like when you guys get to racing, you just do what you do so well. It seems like that must be kind of extra fun, to tell you the truth. Racing with those particular ladies. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I was able to get on the race this week a lot earlier than usual. Usually I'm the one getting on with about 2 minutes till the start goes. But this time I could get on 20 minutes before, and I messaged the crew and said, I'm going to be on early if anyone wants to come on and just have a chat. We chatted for 20 minutes up until 10 seconds to go. And then we're like, well, we better go. It's time to race. And then we stayed on afterwards for about another hour just talking. So yeah, that's kind of, if you want to sum up right, it's just a bunch of friends having some fun racing now. And I think that's what comes out, what you see on the screen. We can see it in this team below. I'm sure, you can see a whole bunch of similar flags there. They're probably all from, around the same place. They're chatting on Discord.
Norway. It's the Vikings. It's Norway.
Norway, yeah. So it's all... Yeah. I mean, I could harp on it forever and ever, but it becomes friendships when you've been racing this long. And this is what happens when you have a league that goes on for this long. I am just seeing a few messages coming through in the chat. I don't know if we want to
we can do interaction. We can do some interaction.
Yeah,
I'll bring in any comments. I saw the comment about I started studying English, fluent English from Rogero Costa just to do it just for the TTT in the Zero, which I thought was a pretty fun little tidbit.
That validates my question.
Yeah, it validates it 100%. Anna, what were you looking at there?
Yeah, I was this was around the community league because it's something that's been floating around in my head. Do community leagues and Premier Leagues always need to be linked together? So, we used to have the Premier League happen a day before on the same
Oh,
course, the same thing, and then community would happen. And there's just been a few people in chat saying, some people liked that. They
Is
liked
that
seeing like
Thomas's quadrant? Is that
yeah,
what you're looking
yeah.
at there? Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, so looking at the pros racing the course and then you're inspired to race next, or are you inspired by the community ACATs, or do they need to be together? Yeah, it's an interesting discussion as to whether the two need to be separated like that. I mean, we've seen some Prem leagues come into community, or whether Prem is more like a knockout style and it's a totally different kind of event happening. Keen for your guys' thoughts.
Well, I got an idea there. So, I mean, for me, and thought I heard this echoed from you just a little bit, Anna, the other day, like that you really enjoyed having all of the racers in one space. I think that there isn't. It's a tough one because I do understand that idea, Anna, of as well as what I see Thomas speaking to, of like watching the top level. Like there's this idea, we have this in the tour as well. Don't we have like I'm gonna go ride on the same Tour de France course? Like there's an event that you can go do like
Le
that.
Top, Le Top de Tour replicates
Yeah.
perfectly one stage. Yes,
And
very
so it's
much
like
so,
I get to go
Nathan.
do what the pros do. And so watching them, hyping it up, and then go getting that experience, I think that there might be a good way to replicate that without attaching the two, though, right? Like you don't necessarily have to attach. It's a tough one because it would be weird then to have the pros who just raced at that top level to be involved in the community. Because this is a discussion that comes up often, actually, in the last year or two about, well, should it all be one cohesive thing? ZRL, not community, not Prem, it's just ZRL. That's all it is, right? Versus having something that's, this elite level and then like the community and it's attached. And then you have something like a Tour de France, the top the tour, where you go race with the pros did, and like you have this exclusive space. So I personally like the everybody earns their place ranking system and it's all leveled playing field and there isn't an exclusive space. That's the come upper in me. Like that's kind of where I came from in mountain biking, actually. So I really had to try and fight to earn my way there a little bit because I wasn't a part of a lot of the junior programs or anything. I entered the sport late, late early 20s, but that is kind of late actually if you want to get any notice or contracts. A lot of times, if you can't completely commit early time. So because of my background, I think I have a little bit of a bias that way. Dave, what do you think about that?
Well, I was just looking up, trying to figure out what the right word was, Nathan. Autocratic comes to mind, right? Where this isn't based on people's opinions, it's based purely on your ability and your achievements, and that's who rises to the top. And so I was thinking about this the other day, as far as what if you were just to jump into being interested in esports, what does community racing mean versus premier racing? And then there's that overlap, right, where some athletes are in both worlds. A lot of athletes are in both worlds, and I really think that Los Adagist winning the world championships on the women's side was a breakthrough moment. As far as what you always wanted, Nathan, was that the best athlete had a chance to race in the highest level. Now, getting there, our friends at Zwift worked really hard to try to craft a fair pathway for anybody in the world. So, we saw that situation, like if you happen to come from a nation that has not a strong federation, and Anna's in New Zealand, where they take their Olympic sports and they take things seriously down there. Australia, too. But remember Felipe Nystrom from Costa Rica? Well, they didn't really embrace esports, and he for him to get in, he couldn't get. He kind of, in a lot of ways, it would have been great if Costa Rica could have just entered him based on their national federation, but he was going to have to go through the continental qualifier. That's a bike race. It's always going to be a bit of a crapshoot, so not as easy. So we're still figuring things out, and I think to answer Tomas's question, that it is a challenge. It really is. What's the best for the athletes? What's the most fair way? And also, helping to promote esports, and in our case, trying to get more folks on Zwift. And that's, going back, I'll throw it back to you, Nathan, but the L'Etape de Tour concept. People want to have the similar experience. It's like, how fun would it be to go play golf in a foursome with Tiger Woods? Not against him, but just on the same course at the same time, right? And Anna, don't you think that's cool too? That the D riders, they can still compare their time to the best riders in the world on certain segments. So there's a lot of, this is a family, it is a community, and I think we've really come a long way. So back to you, Nathan. Sorry for that long-winded answer, but I
It's
think
all
it's a
good. No, Anna, I want
complicated subject.
Anna's response though to that idea. I think she's doing her which means she wants to talk.
Yeah,
like
she's going to come at us.
Well, I'm just looking at the chat that's coming through as well, because I kind of sway both on both sides. I don't know. I think Daz Carter's got a good point. He's saying he kind of wants to see that knockout format in community. So you've got the four sort of, what we saw, 5 riders v 5 riders, or 3 teams v 3 teams, kind of have a knockouts, or maybe that knockouts format's just in the final. And then Prem League, do they have their own format, and then it all comes together? So you go community v Prem in some grand final. And yeah, I mean, I think probably the biggest thing here that I love is, you've got sports around the world with their national federations in cycling, say, who's so embedded in tradition and history, which is awesome. I mean, I love the Tour de France. I love the Guerra that I've been watching. The benefit esport has right now is that you can just do whatever. We're talking to Doug about that with the event next week. Just try something.
Right.
So I think what we've found over the last 2 years is each season we try something a bit different, and then you can evolve and adapt and see what everybody likes. So I think I personally really like that kind of knockout format. I like Prem being a bit separate from community. I'm sort of a community girl at heart, and I like seeing the Prem teams coming in and racing in that ACAD and seeing how they go up. I know in APAC we had Aero come down, and they were having a hard fight. So it's the Prem teams were birthed out of community as well, and I like a little bit of a touchback for them to be able to come in. And I think, when people are talking about inspiration, about seeing the Prems, coming from a sport of triathlon where you always raced with the pros on the same course, on the same day, at the same time. I mean, maybe Prem, one of the ZRL seasons each time, they can come race. They're not overlapping with their own racing. And that's kind of, I think you're going to have more inspiration when you're racing against the premier riders as opposed to just watching them on the same course.
That's a good point. That is a good point. I have to definitely. There's
a lot to think about.
Still figuring it out.
Really is.
No matter what, though, we've got finals this weekend. WTRL finals on one of the. This is going to be insane. I saw Cy Bradley just put out his YouTube video for the course recon, and he essentially said, be ready for nonstop intervals. How many sprints? Like 14
12.
sprints? 12? Oh my gosh. 12 sprints. Boom, 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 boom. Just nonstop. This weekend's going to be nuts. I am really, really excited for what's going to go down with that. And I know Anna has probably got a little nerves too, because this is going to really test the sprinting legs you've been working on.
Well, I mean, we did this in the knockouts, very similar course where
you got some practice. You got some practice.
We only did 2 sprints per lap, though. We only did 2, not 4. So 4 sprints per lap, 3 laps. I went and did 2 laps as a sort of interval sesh just to recon the course. But I mean, I was riding 1 watt per kg in between the sprints. So maybe I'll just say to the bunch, okay, ladies, let's rein it in, make it a good interval set. But it's what I want to see is, will tactics play a role? I mean, will you even have any breath available to attack outside of just the sprints? And I know, Dave, there's advice you've always had in my head, which is attack when you're tired, because the others will be tired too. But I mean, can you do that after a max effort? I don't know.
It's really, I love this chess match that it's racing, Anna. And I mean, if I was your team, now, I would race super aggressively because my game plan would be that I know I've got the athletes, have the endurance. And what I would tell Christina Grossman is, I only need you to step up to bat 6 times. It's going to be the last 6 times. So, say the Yankees, they come, in baseball, you come up to bat 5 times. I'm only asking for 1 more. So she's a slugger. So I'll hold her for the second half of the race to close out the deal. And I will have 2 riders just setting tempo that's ridiculous so that you don't have to keep doing that big wind up over and over. I would just keep it fast, fast, fast and never back off. Sort of. So Anna, I don't know how much you get to watch American racing these days and through live streams, but sort of what the women on the Legion of Los Angeles team have been doing. They chase everything back if anything goes up the road because they constantly are on the front. They're that strong. But you have to be that strong to be able to do that. So obviously making tactics, Nathan, when you're Anna's Riot team, it's a piece of cake, to tell you the truth.
Well, I'm going to jump in and say that what comes to mind, my intuition is that with that many sprints per lap and with it being a points race, like up front, it's like you're going to have like different roles for different times of the race. Like you're at the back end of the race, burn these matches up front for these riders, unless you just got a rider who's super standout, Liz Van Houweling. But I think that there's Katie Loper, Katie Loper, exactly. You got a few that might be able to just go. But then outside of that, the other riders who might not be their forte could sit in, wait for them to burn their matches later when, there's going to be timings for this. It's going to be very much about timing and when you're going for what, because it so reminds me of in real life crit racing, actually, because the timing because there might be someone who's extremely, extremely strong, who just is too involved. The next thing you know, they didn't make the break. They didn't get the sprint, etc. So it's super strategy on a course like this.
I hate to sell the guys short. Anna, have you had a chance to watch any of that America's West men's racing? The Dan Pedrosa, oh my God, they killed Kenny versus the Brian Diddies and OTRs. It's fantastic racing, Nathan. That might be one of the best races to watch actually in that format, if you think about it, because I think Brian Diddy's been one of the best sprinters we've seen coming out of the community on the men's side, but it's been hard for him to win because he's just getting overwhelmed by this OMG they killed Kenny team and OTR too. It's just great racing. That really through this whole last season was some of the best that we witnessed there.
Yeah, we do have Dan Pedrosa in the chat as well, and he
really?
he has just mentioned it's actually 13 sprints. We forgot the finish line sprint, so 13 from so he's prepped and ready. I also want to shout out to Titanium Ben, who's over on YouTube, who is doing the finals twice. He's racing for 2 teams. I mean, that's a hell for us. Titanium Ben.
Ben, that's a good name.
2 Div 1 Cup races. 2 Div 1 Cup. Wow. Okay. That's gonna be insane for
it's
sure.
Like T-Irish.
26 sprints.
26 sprints. Oh my gosh. Hey guys, let's real quickly here. I'm just going to highlight WCC because they just happen to be the team that we are on before we head into the results for the day so far. WCC Phoenix, it looks like here, and they are out of. We jumped down over to actually zone 14 that started at 15 past the hour, 1:15 Central Time, and WCC. This does have. They're about to finish up. Edwin Doctor Manolita Quirosa of Spain, Rick Burton out of Canada. Also has Robert Wagenhofer out of Canada and David Taylor. Quick little highlight for them. WCC is Wobble Cycle Club. WCC all-inclusive cycling team built from experience. We aim to be the friendliest team on Zwift, building strong teams and stronger friendships. We've seen them many times out on course before. And as our final little highlight in the community, just wanted to give them a quick little shout out as they finish up their zone 14. It also is a good segue for us to give an an idea of how many teams have finished so far today. This is going to be a Mocha category team finishing it up for the Zone 14. There are a couple of more zones to go throughout the night, but we will have most of the zones finished up. Maybe not always the strongest, because of course, oh my God, they killed Kenny, guys, does go out in the final zone of the day. So there are still some fast times to come, but I think a lot of the times that'll be set for the day are said and done.
Yeah, typically, right. Well, things have changed a bit. And actually, that is it zone 1 or 2 that would be New Zealand appropriate, Anna? I think it's 1 actually to start the day.
It's one of the
isn't it?
first ones. It is, yeah.
So
And
come on
sorry,
strong.
I do want to they take it very seriously too. I know Aaron Bleakley from NZ Bros often comes up with the strategies, and they're pretty all in for the
Zone 2.
TTTs.
Now that I think about it,
Zone
typically
2,
zone
yeah.
2, we see those times that
And
you're like, wow.
yeah, BBB apparently has set the course record, just as a shout out to
Good
BBB.
for
So
them.
I'm sure we'll see that in the results, but always good to see a course record. I love that. There we go.
There it is, Anna. You can go ahead and talk to that real quickly, because that's a pretty big deal. There it is, the new course record, 36:46.
Insane over socks for watts, that's a different category. There we go, BBB. That is an insane time. Wow, that's impressive. No wonder they were getting shouted out in the chat. That's awesome. The Frappes, Socks for Watts, always a good TTT team. And there we go. We've got the NZ Bro Ghost Chups out there.
I think is that a course record too then? Is that what that's going to be with
What is the Ghost Chup?
That is a course record as well. Here, if we take a look over at the lattes, 38:54. There it is.
Oh.
So lots
By
of
a
course
lot.
records
Great
being set
job
so
from them.
far.
Almost a minute. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if the
and
Adam
just
Racing
Ghost
Team
Chup.
Electrons too, and the
what's a
Pawaka. I
Ghost
think this
Chup?
is a ton. I think we have like course records across the board. Martin, he is in the background listening. How many times have we done this? Because that would give us a good idea of why this may be happening. Because Beach Island Loop, this is newer to when this is from when old dynamics, old pack dynamics, I think, are not a part of these, if I'm not incorrect. Would that be right, you guys? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And that may have something to do with why we're seeing a lot of new course records.
Could be, or everyone's just really, really fit, ready for the weekend. I'd say that's probably could be more of it. But these are pretty quick times. Looking there at Electric Spirit coming in with the silver, and TFC Vixen with the bronze. Electric Spirit, who we were talking to earlier in the show. So good to see them come out and have a solid performance as well.
Nice job to what's done so far for the Vienna Espressos. I'll take the Frappes here. NZ Bro Pavlova's there. They come in first so far out of Zone 5, 38.25. Sox Watts Odd Sox with the 38.45. NZ Bro Lolly Cake just coming in third place out of Zone 2 we were just talking about there with the 38.53. Crush Bots Feist Frappe in fourth place. Rave On. Hot battle between them. 5-second difference between the PL and the Zone 11 for fourth and fifth. In Vienna Frappe, it's going to be Vegan Gazelles. 39.15 in sixth place there. Vikings Valkyrie. 39.18. Only 3 seconds. This is a very tight group. Look at this. Between them all, we're only talking about not even a minute and a half from first all the way down to 10th place. It's Coalition Amathea there in 8th, 39.30. 15 seconds back from that, Galaxy Star Velocity in 9th, 39.45, and B2B in 10th place. That is your Vienna Frappes results so far for number 161. Dave, what's happening with the lattes?
Well, speaking of both things, so Anna, I do have to ask, what is a Ghost Chup?
So it's from an ad that like an advertisement we had on TV ages ago. I think it was like about drink driving, don't drink drive. And it's a very New Zealand thing. I'll send you guys a video later. Maybe we can share it in the next broadcast. It's a very, very specific reference.
Very, okay. All right. So, but then Zone 2, right on cue for NZBRO, it's Galaxy Star Surge with the second quickest time. As Nathan mentioned, these can update. You see, the highest number is 11. We've got probably Zone 16 even out on course right now, but Galaxy Star Surge in with the second quickest time. Zedson R. Pluto third. Kirkmeyer Team B's. Now we're into the Platinum League teams that just raced. That's Vienna Latte again in fourth. Kirkmeyer, Crushpod 2 in 5th, ZR Scott Alba 6th, R3R Spice Girls 7th, Vegan Mint 8th, WCC Infernos 9th. And we'll see if these top 10 remain the same or if some disruptors are out on course or going to race later as Rave Against the Machine looks to hold on to the last spot up on our table here for Vienna Lattes.
In with the Viennas, Annie, what takeaway with the Adam Racing Team Electrons?
Yeah, Adam Racing Team Electrons heading out there in 41.30 with the Tugaz Breezes. Wow, that's dominating from Adam Racing. 46 seconds behind was Tugaz Breezes. The OWL, one of my favorite teams out there, older women in Lycra bike team. A minute back, but they're in third and bronze medal position. The ZR Scott Aria team. Now, I know you've had them been messaging you. They're one of my fave teams because their name is my daughter's name, Aria. So that's awesome. 5, the Rockies. Yeah. 6, Z-Sun Neo-Wise. 7th, Z-Sun Hydra. They're well represented here in this group. NZ Bro Pie Sandwiches. And 8th, it's a horrible thing, by the way, never eat a pie sandwich. Adam Racing Team Zwiftarions in 9th. And the 10th, WCC Coffee Crisps.
And for the Dopios, NZ Bro Pekka Pekka. What is that all about, Anna? I mean, we have all these questions. I really do.
I know. That's a type of bird. I think it's a very small fantail bird.
Oh, okay. 32.25.
A Waka Waka would crush it. I would have to sit. No, I don't know.
Well, Mutant X comes in for second place, 30. Wow. NZ Bro Pika Pika must be for lying because Mutant X are no joke. 9 seconds behind here. This is very close racing. NZ Bro Monteith Monsters. They come on through for third. What's happening, Dave, with Espresso?
I meant it the other way around, actually. So, no disrespect intended. All right. Burrito Titans. Ooh la la. Zone 10 Monsters, 33.43 for the Espresso's fastest time of the day. It's going to be Eat Dirt Animales in with the second fastest time. Down and Dirty Vipers third. Mutant Z in fourth. Evo Vortex Psychopaths are the fifth fastest time. Then we've got sixth for Dirt Diggler, seventh for Cryogen Gulls, Evo Gladiators in eighth, Espresso ESRT in ninth, and then Coalition Stratus rounds out. Look at all the zones represented here. It's a wild day of racing out on Beach Island Loop. That's your top 10 for the Espressos in the mixed men's.
Anna, what's happening with Frappes?
Oh, the P-Waka Wakas. There they are. They're doing well in the gold position. 36 seconds ahead, so reasonably tight with the ZR Scott team, the Kelpies. PTZ Oryx in bronze, 48 seconds back. Z-Sun Vulcans in fourth. RR Rapid Rhinos, that was close. Look at that between third, fourth, and fifth. Just about 5 seconds in that one. And sixth, Valhalla Leg Biters. Z-Sun Saturns in seventh. Tugaz Falhardos in eighth. The Cryogen Blue Cranes in ninth. And Z-Sun Orion in 10th.
And in with the lattes for the mixed men's and number 161s, the Vikings Valhalla at 36.05. 38 seconds back, NZ Bro Mutton Birds in second place there. Vikings Mjolnir 39 seconds back, very close racing. 1 second gap between those two for the top three in the podium. RR Woolly Rhinos in fourth. 40 seconds back from the winning time. TFC Lancasters in fifth. Cryogen Magpies in sixth. Team Type 1 A1Cs in seventh. Down and Dirty Raptors in eighth place. Not to be confused with the Triceratops, obviously. Ninth place is going to be TSC Mazaran. That's a really inside joke. Sorry, everybody. 10th place is going to be Cryogen Woodpeckers coming on through, beating out Mazarin for that. Getting beat out just barely by Mazarin by 1 second. Look at that. 154, 156, 157, 158. There is only a 4-second spread between 7th to 10th place. This latte crew is so competitive, and it's across the zones. PL, 9, 8, and PL. As far as the zones go, so cool to see across the world such a tight competition. Dave, take it away for our final class, the Mochas.
Thanks, Nathan. RR Sumatran Rhinos do not disappoint. They're in the Platinum League, and they put a 40-26 up on top of the table as our gold standard as it stands. Swedish Swift Racers M, they're so close today. Less than 8 seconds back for the second quickest time. Two guys. That's going to be Pampilo with the third quickest time. TFC Hurricane fourth. Zed Sonar Stellar in with the fifth fastest time. Then in sixth is Coalition Tempest. Team Type 1, the Gluconauts in seventh. Herd of Hyenas, eighth, quickest so far. TBR Renegades and TBR Smoking Hot. That's your ninth and 10th fastest times out of zones 9 and 3 there. But Platinum League stacking up the top 3 times. To make Platinum League, you got to be one of the top 10 to 12 teams out of your group, your coffee class. So back to you, Nathan. We'll see who's able to accomplish that for next week. Boy, what are we into now? 162nd edition coming up. I think they're going to go somewhere besides Beach Island Loop, unless they liked it so much.
Yeah, let me see. Let me see what we got here. Maybe just a quick reload. And it is 162, but it's not Beach Island Loop. So we'll leave that one alone for now.
I wish it was. I would like this as a permanent course.
Well, this was a lot of fun, everybody. I really enjoyed all the discussion. For me personally, I love esports. I love Zwift racing, obviously, and all of the topics that got brought up just by bringing one of these teams in and across all the events that are going on. You would think that we were going into Zwift season, right? Or into the indoor season right now. I mean, with how much was happening here. Thoughts real quick on Electric Spirit Co. and the new format. Let's go to Anna first.
Oh, well, I mean, as soon as I saw it, I signed up. So that kind of gives you an indication of how much I love that format. I think it's going to be great. It's hard. It's got something that suits everybody. It's a great way to bond with the team. I'll be racing for NZ Bro for that race.
Nice.
So that'll be fun, jumping in with them and getting in the chats. And yeah, we'll come out with some crazy tactics. It'll be a whole lot of fun. And a big thanks to them for coming online and chatting with us as well. It's always good to see the faces behind the avatars.
Dave, and you, any thoughts? I really liked the inside look to what was going on with Electric Spirit Co. and having Gio on and seeing her excitement, as well as hearing a little bit of how they work out their TTT, as well as how they work as a team and how much they've actually invested into racing on Zwift. It was very obvious her passion for it.
Absolutely. I really think, and I'm going to guess both of you would vouch for this, that the secret sauce here, there's different variations of secret sauce, but it all comes down to you've got to find that bond with the people, and then you can build it from there. And it's extremely cool. Electric Spirit Company is a really good. I did it. That's so funny. Nathan and I used to call them that when they first came into the league, Anna, because there's a TV show when we were kids here, or at least when I was a kid, that was called The Electric Company. So they clearly are a distillery, and they've created a great thing. It's an actual brand. There's so many different ways of doing this, but it really comes down to a friendship between a couple of Zwifters, to tell you the truth. And at the end of the day, that's what makes this special, are the people that you're doing it with, the accountability. It's a big part of why WTRL is so successful. Is during the COVID era, especially, people needed to feel relied upon. And they needed a place to be, and you wanted to, have that a touchstone. It became a touchstone. It remains a touchstone for us. And I know it's always challenging, Anna, because you're going into your winter time now, as we're just kicking into summertime mode here. It's obviously a little bit different for you down there. But I think that at this point now, esports is a year-round phenomenon. So, yeah, that'll wrap it up. Nathan, back to you.
Yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. I just want to give everybody a heads up. We are taking 2 weeks off. Just as a heads up, 2 weeks off. We will see you again with a new schedule after 2 weeks after this weekend on Saturday. So, but of the TTT, just as a heads up, of the TTT, we will not be back, as we are looking forward to the next TTTs. Number 162 and 163 will not have a broadcast. We'll be back at you with number 164. We'll get that scheduled, very shortly after
Go watch
the broadcast
people on
here.
their Twitch.
Exactly.
Nathan?
That's the place to
Yep.
head to. You can go watch the community always on Twitch. We have shared up actually the game category on Twitch on our Facebook. We'll also put it out on our Twitter to give everybody an idea where to find that. Is definitely the main place to go for live streaming, to find a collection of Zwift streamers. It's very well organized just over on Twitch. If you do have somebody you follow, obviously, on their channel on YouTube, great place to go as well. Just a little bit harder to find a collection of streamers, as Twitch has done a really good job of creating a game category and being able to easily find those streams that are happening of Zwift. You go find them right now if you want to. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We will see you this weekend, obviously, with the finals for WTRL for all of the cups. We'll be broadcasting that. I think it's going to be me and guests, essentially. Dave, where are you heading? You're off to do some awesome in real life racing, and people can probably find you at those if they're in the location.
I'm going to Stetna's Pay Dirt, which is up in Carson City, Nevada. It's a gravel event, but it's the first ever pro women are the only people getting prize money. There is no men's element of that. So they're really celebrating women's racing. And this was going to be a big event for Mo Wilson. So it's going to be a celebration of her life there as well. People are going to be very, very emotional. Some racers have opted not to race and are going to come and just be, much like our Zwift community, that tribe of people are really, well, they're healing right now, trying to heal. And so this is going to be a really heavy, heavy weekend, but I'm really glad I'm there because there's no place it's sort of your responsibility as part of this community to show up on the tough days too, right?
100%. Lexi Albrecht, I would see in the lower right-hand corner here. Good to see Lexi.
Albrecht.
We just happened to land on her.
Morocco.
We just happened to land on her avatar for some reason. There's Lexi Albrecht. Okay, that's fun to see. Anyway,
so Lex was a Tibco rider, rode pro for a lot of teams. She rode for Nikki Cranmer's 2016 team, but she's doing Race Across America, so she must be grinding right now, getting some miles or in her case, kilometers in. Yeah.
Good point. Well, all right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Make sure to head over to WTRL.racing for all of the results as they do update throughout the rest of the night, as there are a few zones still to kick off. And we will see you this weekend for the WTRL finals. As always, everybody make sure to hit those follow buttons. It helps out the channel a lot. Comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, all that good stuff. We always appreciate it. And we will see you this weekend for the finals. As always, ride on.